Next morning, everyone's looking forward to the final stages of the problem-solving process. Although Sue and Wayne have refined and redefined their problems, there'll be further opportunity today to see them in a new light. Layla introduces a technique to help them do so.
This is an exercise which is taken from NLP, of which I'm not a master, mistress or anything else, but I find some of the techniques very useful. There are lots of different ways you can use it, but the way that I'm going to put it to you this morning is in terms of assisting the problem owner to actually feel, see, hear, be in different spaces about the problem. For example, if it relates to some particular individuals or people, then it can be quite helpful to look at the problem from their point of view. Mac might be himself. He might be the problem owner, so he would come and stand on that square there and actually just, be there with his problem. And
the essence of the technique is to try standing in someone else's shoes. The papers on the floor represent different people's perspectives, and as Mac moves between them, he can move between different roles and between past, present and future.
Wayne definitely wanted to try that particular approach, which is actually very, very personal, very involving.
Mac adapted the technique slightly so that Wayne walked along an imaginary line through time into a future where things would be very different.
Help us. Okay, so your line is from there along to there.
Yeah.
You go to the blue.
How does he see things from a place 12 months in the future?
I'm now the managing director.
Oh, you?
Yes.
Right.
And because all this has happened, what happened back a few stages is that the managing director understood there was a problem, and because he understood that he was the problem, he moved out.
Okay.
And it's fantasy land, really. But
around that time, two of the members of the group got into a little discussion by themselves, which I think was a very pertinent discussion from what I could hear. But there was no way, for instance, of bringing them back into the other exercise, or for me to go and work with them, because what Wayne was doing was actually so personal and potentially leaving him quite vulnerable that he needs the facilitator, whoever that might be, in this case me, he needs the facilitator to be there with him, working with him. And then as far as they were concerned, I deliberately shut them out of my attention, quite deliberately, and focused totally on Wayne.
okay.
Just focus on you, Wayne, now.
Yeah. Okay, so now what I would be doing is going back to the workplace and letting the peer group understand what I believe are the wants and needs and concerns of the business.
It's this conflict, tension rather than conflict, that you have as a facilitator, that there are minutes when you're outside the group looking in, and there are times when you're in the group, and that's one of those moments when you're very definitely in the group, part of the group, and you're there to guide Wayne, but you're also there to look after him, make sure he's okay, because that exercise can feel quite threatening sometimes if you're not careful. So you've got to really focus in and be with Wayne to the exclusion of everybody else in the small group, really.
From starting with the problem, I had the perception that it was other people's issues and concerns. And I think on conclusion it was actually myself that had the issues and concerns, and maybe myself that had the agenda rather than it being anybody else.
It's important to you in discussions with you in the sort of
Wayne's team now help him to use the notes and insights from the last exercise as the basis of an action plan to take away from the workshop. Layla and Mac have successfully guided the group towards a conclusion of the creative problem-solving method.
And this process, to a large extent, aiming for those objectives, is being initiated by Wayne.
Yes.
So Wayne starts a process that ends up there.
Yeah.
Is he still going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As the workshop draws to a close, what do these facilitators think are the keys to successful facilitation?
Sounds a bit mystical in a way, but I would say a sense of group energy is absolutely #1 key to actually feel what's going on with the group at a feeling level, and the ability to tune into what the group's up to. And I think having a sense of when the group needs someone to come in and be more directive and lead more and give more support, and when they actually don't need you at all, and the best thing to do is to back off.
Certainly a key thing for me is perception, right? When I'm actually doing my work with a group, I may be looking very laid back, horizontal, whatever, but I'm actually seeing and noticing a lot, far more than I would in an ordinary conversation. You know, things like slight movement of feet, you know, a twitch of a hand, whatever. It's not just listening with your ears, it's kind of tuning in is a better way of saying it. So you're totally involved the whole time, even when you're, quote, doing nothing.
It's been a very involving 2 days for the problem owners too.
I really feel that I've been through quite an experience, and I think it's clarified so many things for me. The sort of the minor irritation that was there was really a big issue, and it wasn't the issue that I thought it was. It's been redefined and reformed, and it's now addressing the real issue, and I can now take it forward and do something positive.
When we look at the problem in the first instance, which is probably down here somewhere, the customer's needs, hard skill stuff, they're all personal agendas have been realised. I think the only personal agenda that there was within this problem was mine.
In only 12 months.
So now I've realised that, and I think one of the main phrases that I gave on completion of this is, at least I've been honest with myself for probably the first time. So that's what this gave to me. Thank you, Layla.